Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. This is Ganesh Pujari and this is the second video as far as the term offer is concerned. The previous video I have named it as skeleton video for offer because I have discussed most important aspect pertaining to offer in brief in that particular video, whereas in this particular video I am going to discuss in detail the essentials of a valid offer. Every essentials is almost covered by a case law. Why to waste time? Let's get into the first slide. The first and foremost essential of a valid offer is there needs to be two parties. One offerer, the other one offeree. Without two parties, there cannot be any offer. The second important aspect is offer needs to be communicated to offeree. Now, what if it is not communicated to offeree? To understand the entire aspect in detail, we need to go through the case law of Lalman Shukla versus Gauri Dutt. This one case gives the complete perception of this particular aspect, that is offer needs to be communicated to the offeree. Now, what happened in this case? There was one Mr. A, he was living with his nephew and a servant. One fine day, his nephew was missing and immediately his servant went in search of that particular nephew. After some time, A get tensed and he announces a prize money of rupees 500 saying that whoever brings back his nephew will get that prize money. Now, finally, the servant finds the nephew and he brings back, and after bringing back, he comes to know that there was a prize money of 500 rupees for finding the nephew. So he asks his owner to give that 500 rupees to him. However, owner says no. Now the servant goes to court asking for that 500 rupees and the court says offer must be communicated to the offeree, and here in your case you are not at all aware of any such offer made by your owner, so you are not liable to ask or you are not eligible to take any offer or that prize money from your owner because he was not at all aware of the offer made by his owner. Hope that is very clear. Now the third aspect is the offer must be certain, unambiguous and definite. To understand that, we need to take the help of the case law Taylor versus Pottington. What happened here? See, whenever we bring in new tenant to our home, we say we will make it good, like we'll repaint, or if there is any essential maintenance to be done, we'll manage and give it to you. Likewise, there was a commitment by the owner to the tenant saying that house will be thoroughly repaired and decorated according to the present style. Now the court said this is not a definite order because or a definite offer, because when you say according to the present style, what is the present style? Present style may be different from person to person, or you have mentioned that thoroughly repaired. What is thoroughly repaired? It may again change from person to person, so it is not definite, it is ambiguous and it is not certain, so such offers are not valid offer. And this is the third requirement, the offer must be definite, unambiguous and certain. The fourth important essential is the offer must be capable of creating legal relation. To understand this, we need to go through the case law of Balfour versus Balfour. What happened here? Husband and wife were living happily and husband gets a job in Ceylon. And while moving to Ceylon, he says to his wife that he will be sending 30 pounds to wife every month. After reaching Ceylon, he was sending 30 pounds to wife for few months and then he stops. So his wife sue him for that 30 pounds on monthly basis. However, court says the agreement between husband and wife is just a social agreement and it is not a contract, and such offers are not legally abidable. The offers like marriage invitation or invitation for a dinner or invitation for a movie, all those are social offers and they do not have any legal obligation to the person who is offering that. Now that's about fourth point, and the fifth essential is offer must be capable of performance. Now, if someone says that I will give life to the dead horse, it is not an offer which can be capable of performance. So such offers are not valid, which are unable to perform. The sixth one is mere intention is not an offer. Now, on a day, if someone says I want to sell my home, it is not an offer. It is just a statement. Or sometimes people say I would like to sell my car. It is just a statement. only when they say I want to sell my so and so car of which module, which year, for so and so amount, if you want to like to buy, then it becomes certain, it is unambiguous. In that case, that becomes offer. A mere statement of like I would like to sell my car, it is not an offer. The seventh essential is invitation to make an offer is not an offer. What is invitation to make an offer? Now, if you go to a shop, for example, in the case law of Fisher versus Bell, a person goes to the shop and there was a knife on which a rate was mentioned, and he comes to the customer, the manager, and says, I would like to buy this knife. Now the manager says, no, I will not sell this. Now the person gets angry and puts a case against the manager, and the court says here the customer has made the offer and manager has the option to accept the offer or deny. So that is how you need to see when you are making an invitation to offer. That is about the seventh essential. Now the eighth essential is quotation of price is not an offer. This is one important case law of Harvey versus Fessy. You might expect a problem based on this particular question. What happened here? There was one Mr. Harvey and Fessy. Harvey says, I would like to buy your bumper pen hall home. Bumper Hall pen is a home name of Mr. Fessy. And Harvey says, I would like to buy that home. And if I want to buy that home, what is the least price? And Fessy says it is £900. Now Harvey says, I would like to buy that. Here, Fessy has not given an option to buy. He just says what is the lowest quotation. He just given the quotation of house, and he has not shown the intention or intent to sell his house to Mr. Harvey, and mere quotation cannot be considered as offer. That is what held in this particular case. Now, self-service shop, whatever price they are mentioning there, it is just offer only. The managers or the owner of that particular shop can anytime decline selling of any product that they have mentioned price there. The 10th aspect is negotiation details are not an offer. Those are just details. For example, if you want to sell your car for 5 lakh rupees, if someone says 4.5 lakhs and then it comes to 4.8 lakhs, whatsoever negotiation is there, those are only details of that particular negotiation and they are not at offer. The last aspect that I am bringing in is newspaper ads are not an offer. So that is one particular aspect you need to remember. With that, I am concluding this particular video. Though normally newspaper ads are not offers, they can be considered as general offers in certain cases. For example, if there is an advertisement for a finding of lost dog, now if they have announced some prize money, that can be considered as general offer, which is a valid offer. That is what we are precisely going to discuss in the case of Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company case in my next video. So that's about the newspaper ads. With that, I am concluding this particular video. If you have already subscribed my channel, thank you so much for the same. If you haven't yet, then please subscribe my channel. Please like, share and comment my videos. All the very best for whatsoever purpose you are watching this video, and thanks again.